We are live on Facebook. Oh my gosh, first live stream of the year. Hi,
Yay!
Roberta.
Hi, Laura, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. This is the Transform Your Relationships live show, and we are starting the year off with a deep topic, shall we say.
Yes, we're not skimming across the maybe I'll do it resolutions. We're going to jump right into something much more foundational and more intriguing and introspective. And that's a great way to start the year from my perspective.
Absolutely. And, what it is starting the new year intentionally. I used to hold this party every New Year's Day. You'll probably remember, Roberta. And I had people write not their resolutions, but their intentions for the year. And there's a huge difference between resolving to do something and intending to do something.
Huge.
I, yeah, resolve just feels too rigid and like you're setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean, I put out some graphics over the holidays, one on New Year's Eve day and one on New Year's Eve. And I said, resolutions are overrated, but reflection is not. And so when you take some time to reflect on who am I, who who do I want to be, how do I want my life to be, how do I want my relationships to be, that's reflective. And that's not saying, getting into the goal oriented kind of thing and the deprivation and the huge promises and everything that the energy of the new year often brings, because that sets yourself up for failure in so many instances. And it's much better to become intentional about it, that you've thought, that you've reflected, where would I like to see change in my life, because I'm the author of the change in my life.
Yay! In fact, I'd like to add to that. And, what is the change you want to see? What is the year going to be about? And feel what it feels like. I think there's a huge aspect of feeling what this year should be about. What do you want 2018 to feel like? What does each of those changes feel like? Because once you start getting into the energy of that, then you are now creating it. If you're not feeling it, you're just saying it. Do you agree?
Exactly. Yeah, I do agree. And that's where being reflective allows that energy to gather. If we just say something, it's the difference between surfing and diving. You say something and, you're just skimming along the surface. Oh, that sounds good. It'll sound good to other people too. Yay, got one. But when you reflect, you do a deep dive into, do I really want that? Does that resonate with me? Would that be something that I would really welcome in my life? And that's where we want to be. We want to be at that place where people can really say, yeah, and a big yeah to that. Not yes, I should, but yes, that's what I want.
And yes, that's what I'm living and feeling. And it's almost once you feel it, it's halfway there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, wow, we can do this. It's totally possible. And thank you, Kanika, for sharing our live stream today. We're excited. If you have questions, please put them in the comments. If you'd like to let us know where you're tuning in from, please put them in the comments. I am monitoring them over at Transform Your Relationships Live on Facebook. So we're happy
Yeah.
you're here.
Yeah, we love that because you will get more from the program if you ask your questions, and other people have that question too. So every question that's asked is important to a whole lot more people than just you. So speak up.
And join the party. Make this year the year you enjoy and you get what you need out of life, and you can get what you need out of the show too.
Gee, I hope so. That's why we get up in the morning on Tuesdays and do this, right?
Yep, yep. And
You
thank you,
know,
Jan, for your love here. We love the loves and
yeah, for
the likes.
sure. I'm really valuing yourself is where this all starts, I think, Laura, don't you?
I do.
Like, it's not about the shoulds and woulds and all the stuff that life tells us. It's about welling up from within, that you are important, that what you need, want, think, and feel is important, and that you value it. You don't skim over it. Like often when I'm working with clients, they've got their should list, well, things should be better. Or they have their blame list. Well, my life would be better if I'd had better parents or whatever. We can't live in the past. We can learn from the past, but we can't live in the past. And maybe we have some past concepts of who we are and what we can become. And today would be a really good day to change that, to say, I can be whomever I want to be. I could do whatever I want to do. I get to choose. And that would be with intention. Choose 2018 with very clear intentions. So you know what's up.
Yeah, and when you choose, be careful. There is a little caveat there. Are you reacting to someone? Are you reacting to something in your past, or are you creating your future the way you truly want it? Not to get back at somebody, not to, you know, uh, prove something to someone else. There's this purity that you really want to get to of what's really true in your heart of hearts, not what's true so you can rebel at the world type of thing.
Yeah, or that you don't want to be living up to other people's expectations. You have
Exactly.
to really examine that. Like, where did I get this idea that this is a good idea? Did somebody tell me? Did I read it in a book? Did I see it on an ad? Is there a sort of cultural should around this? And does it actually resonate with me? And if it doesn't, like, chuck it. No, this is not on my radar screen. Get rid of that one. That's not where I'm focusing today. And I often working with clients who have had difficult parents or partners or exes or whatever. Often there's this element of seeking out, like a heat-seeking missile, where to blame. And yeah, there's blame involved. But if you're going to be the heat-seeking missile for blame, you're going to live in blame. So, give it a name. Okay, it came from here. Now let's get out of the blame and let's say, who am I and what do I want? And I'll give you an example because it works really well with our intention today. Sometimes in my Facebook groups, people will say, well, he or she, the hijackal, is behaving this way. And I'm just about to give them some of their own medicine. And I go screeching and I write, wait, who are you? You're going to demonstrate your values, your vision for life, your beliefs, by what you do. If you're just being like them, what's up with that? So we have the opportunity of being us, uniquely us, expressing us. And that's our task here, not to be a replica of somebody else or not to live up to other people's expectations and not to be giving somebody back their own medicine, because that means now I'm that person.
Yeah, in fact, if you're being as a result of them, I'm going to give them their own medicine, they actually have the power.
Exactly.
You gave all your power to them and you can't live your own life. You're living in
That's,
response to them.
yeah.
So intentions is about your life that you're creating outside of this. You really have to get zen. It's like everything going on around is just going on around. And my life is my life. And thank you for the loves and the hearts and the smileys and we got flowers and stuff coming up.
Yay.
So thank you. And the yeah, so yeah, we want to invite you to take on you this year. Even all right, Roberta, even if you're feeling defeated, like you can't, you've tried everything and there's no hope. We are here to say, maybe that's not the right
Wavelength.
wavelength or not true. Maybe that's an illusion.
It is an illusion. It truly is an illusion, because what happens is you get tunnel vision on what you can't do, and you forget that all around here are possibilities. So that's where the step back, reflect. Like, some people will say, oh, I'm having the most horrible day. And I say, are you having a horrible day or a horrible moment? Let's get clear. Because give me 3 things great that happened today, and they can do it. But I'm having a horrible day. No, it's in your focus, right? Like I was watching people on Facebook writing, well, 2017 was a terrible year. Really? You didn't have a good meal? Nobody smiled at you? There was no warmth? Your dog didn't make you happy? Nothing? It was a terrible year? Probably not. Let's look at life in the in the little sections that is given to us. And when we are creating an intention, intention plays itself out in baby steps and nanoseconds. It's not like, whoa, it's not like that thing like you start a diet on Monday, and if you blow it on Tuesday, you wait till the next Monday. It's like, okay, I want to tweak that a bit in the next moment, right? Am I on course? No, slipped a little, back on course. And so you're just tweaking consciously all the time. Am I going in the direction that I most want to go, where I'll feel best?
And I love that course correction. I use that term a lot in my Transform Your Body work. If you think about an airplane going from Los Angeles to New York, 96% of the time the plane is off course.
Wow.
Don't freak out, because what is it doing? It's going like this, and then it's going like this, and 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 that's how it gets there. That's how we get places in life. We try something and we realize, oh, we went a little too far that way. Let's go back this way, that way, this way, that way. So that's what it is to be human, to go off course. It's okay.
Yeah.
And then that brings me to an article I read is in the New York Times, and I'll put the link below so people can read it, but it's all about the only real way to create resolutions. Well, I don't know about that, but the point of the article was that if we use the emotions of self-compassion, gratitude, and generosity, we can get really far. We can get to our goals. Not willpower, not beating ourselves up, not retaliation or rebellion, but really success comes when we can tap into what we're grateful for. And you were saying just that in, looking back at 2017. Last night I was online, and if you're going to post something on social media, post a thank you and to people, or send a message to somebody, I'm really grateful for you, or an email. Notice how your energy changes just by saying how grateful you are for the love that you have from certain people, from the fact that you have a dog and a companion, the fact that you have your 10 fingers or 9 fingers or however many you have, that you're really grateful for the little teeny tiny things. And it's going to do exactly what you were saying in those those micro moments of moving ourselves forward. What's the most compassionate thing we can do for ourselves and for others? But putting ourselves, our masks on first before we put it on the person next to us, we are resuscitating the energy of what we want to create in our life.
Yeah, and I love that image. I just want to go back to that great image you shared, Laura, of course correction. Because what do? We get off course a little bit, like we have the extra slice of pizza, and then we sit there beating ourselves up. Oh, I shouldn't have done it. I'm so stupid. Obviously, I don't. No, just the next time, don't have the extra slice of pizza. It's a quick course correction.
Exactly. Next moment, even.
Yeah, and just say, oh, I got to tweak. I love that idea. So let's all get that in our head. Like, we can just course correct and we'll still get there. Because remember those planes that Laura was talking about, when they're going from Los Angeles to New York, they don't get over Phoenix and go, oh, I'm going to have to go back to Los Angeles and start again.
That's right.
They're
keep like,
going.
No, I'm just going to go to Mexico now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I seem to be on my way to Bali. Okay.
No, they're like course correcting. It's natural. And we can do it for ourselves. Go ahead.
Well, that puts up another thing. Like, let's talk about this for a minute. Sometimes, and this is where, like, I talk a lot about spiritual things as you do. And this is someplace that we have to talk about maybe in a whole show. That sometimes you'll get on that plane and that plane will start to not be going to New York. It seemed to be going to Bali. And then you go, everything happens for a reason.
Yes. Oh.
Ooh. No. That is something that really needs examining, and I hope you will all examine that. I absolutely believe that I am living in the flow and that there is a flow and that I need to listen to that. But that doesn't mean that the devil made me do it when I take the extra piece of pizza. I have will. So if I still want to go to New York, and there's no reason why I should go to Bali just because I got off course a little bit, then I should go to New York and find out why I needed to go to New York. And if I find when I get there, it says, take the next step and go to Bali, I'll do it then.
And if you're, I want to add to this analogy because that's great. Because so if you're going to New York and you get a little off course, you got to gun it a little bit to turn a little, it takes a little extra energy to get back on course, just a little, not a whole lot, but you got to put the gas. So to me, how that translates in real life is, okay, I had that extra slice of pizza. I got to change the energy to get back on track. Maybe I need to drink a glass of water. Maybe I need to stand up and walk around. Maybe I need to do something, jump up and down one or two times, clap my hands, something to change the energy to get me back on course to New York. So think about things that work for you and or get creative. If you can't think about what works, ask a question like, how can I get back on course? It's a great question.
Yeah, that's where you'll get the answer. Not that everything happens for a reason. I guess I'm supposed to be 600 pounds. No, like people take things so literally in that regard. And I just really invite that. Maybe we'll put that on the list, Laura, to talk about it one day, because it's a gloss over. We don't think about what that means. Like I say, I'm all about flow. I'm all about listening to guidance, doing all of that. That's a real big part of my life. But I don't use it as a cop out to say, oh, yeah, you know, there has to be balance. I'd like to share something that I shared with everybody on Facebook, because I think we could talk about a little positive direction here in these intentions. And I wrote some affirmations for 2018. And if anybody didn't see them, just go to my Facebook page, Relationship Help Doctor. They're there. And here are some affirmations for a healthy 2018. I respect myself. I maintain my boundaries. I learn from my experiences. I honor my body. I welcome love. I reject abuse. I embrace honesty. I reject excuses. That's the pizza. I walk towards good. I live in balance. I walk in wisdom because I matter.
And just one note on that. I did see that. I posted it right here on Transform Your Relationship
Oh, great.
Live.
Okay. All right. And it's that last line, Laura, that I think you and I are talking about, because I matter. If you just think about it mathematically for a moment, the number of sperm that rushed toward an egg that didn't do anything for months and maybe years, and then all of a sudden there was a connection and it became you matter. You're here because you matter. And treating yourself as though you matter is the first step in believing that you can be intentional. Like what I do and say and be matters. Not necessarily to other people, although that will happen, but you matter. And so taking the time to be self-reflective says, I matter. You sit down with a nice cup of tea or a cup of lemon water, and you say, I'm just going to take a minute just to be a little internal and see where am I at and what's going on. And maybe I'll get an idea or two. Just take a little bit of time because you matter. So when these intentions you set are because you believe you matter, and that energy is what we can replace that second piece pizza with, right?
Absolutely. I matter to me at the very least. I matter because I want to make a difference. If you need to take that to the next level, it's start thinking about how you want to matter too.
Mm-hmm.
Like what make difference do you want to make? That's an intention too. We can get our eyes off of ourselves, off of others and onto ourselves and the intention we want and off of, well, let's put it this way, off of what others think we should or want us to be and what we want to make a difference for in the world. I wanted to address something. Jan, thank you for your comment that she wants to stop reacting when she feels angry by someone else's behaviors, to understand that anger and what it's telling me, to set a boundary and move on. Wow, that's powerful. That anger, when you're angry at somebody else, is because you haven't set your own boundary. That's a really powerful comment.
Yeah, that's great, Jan. I love that intention. And let me just break this down a little moment here. Nobody can make you angry. You got that? Nobody can make you angry. So that's not just you, Jan. That's every one of us. Nobody can make us angry. We have to participate in that. So when somebody does or says something, one of the techniques that you can use is to take a breath at that moment, and whether you step back physically or you just step back in your mind and go, I'm observing that other person. That's who they are. They're showing me who they are right now. That's all I need, is to be able to say, you're showing me who you are right now. I get to decide who I'll be now. Am I going to be an equally angry person? Am I going to be a blaming person? Am I going to do any of that? Or I'm going to go, wow, I can see that you're really upset. I can't join you in that, but I empathize that you're really upset and you're really angry about that. If you'd like to talk about that at some time when there's calmness, I'd be happy to do that. But I'm not going to jump in and be in that, because what happens when you do that in your brain, your amygdala goes a little bit nuts and you go into fight or flight mechanism. And that's two of you in there in fight or flight mechanism, neither one of you making sense. Both of you are going to regret later, unless you're with a hijackal who will just feel really great that they got you. But don't jump in. Don't jump in and get triggered. That's the first step. When you see somebody going off like a Roman candle, inhale, metaphorically step back and say, oh, that's interesting. You're showing me who you are.
Really, 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 really powerful. And I want to let everybody know it's not easy necessarily to not get triggered. We have to honor that we may get triggered. And I love your suggestion of, okay, well, if we're triggered, it is not the best time to respond.
No.
That
It,
was the whole goal of that other person, to get you into the same level of thinking as they, because if you can be above, they can't compete. So stay at the place where, okay, if you're getting triggered, time to like, I need a break and come back to this at a higher level.
but honor their process.
Yeah.
You can say it like I often say to clients who are having anger issues, you can always match somebody with their pace, their intensity, and their volume. Somebody's yelling at you. You don't want to get into that space, and you don't want that in your body, but you can go, wow, I can see that really has a lot of energy for you. So you matched it. So they know subconsciously, they know you got how upset they are, but you didn't go there. And then what you do is you slowly withdraw. So you're going, wow, it must be really hard to have that much energy around that. And I can understand that you really want to talk about it. And you know what? I'd be happy to talk about it, but I think probably we should do it when our bodies are a little calmer. How would that be for you? And you see how I just kept withdrawing and withdrawing and withdrawing till it got quieter and less intense and slower? And so we lead somebody into the quiet place. If they won't go, that's fine, but we stayed there.
Mm. Do you think starting at that high intensity and then working, maybe staying there for a half a second, 2, 3 seconds, whatever, working them down brings them
Yeah,
there too? Does that guide them?
that's the point,
Okay.
is that, okay, you're not going to get into their emotions, but you can get into their volume, pace, and intensity, right? So that they feel like you got them, but you didn't go with them, you know?
Right.
And that can be really, really helpful. And then you just pace them back. Like, yeah, that must be hard. Yeah, I can see that's really upsetting. Yeah, probably if I saw it that way, I'd be upset too. I don't happen to see it that way, and I'd be happy to talk about it when another time when we're calm. And we just paced it back. And now, we've set an intention and a willingness to talk about it, but not now while the energy's flying.
So I'd like to set an intention or offer an intention to set that is to really be centered in oneself and goals and intentions. Be centered in your own intentions. Like, how do you, you know, not get triggered? And you just gave us the answer. I mean, not how do you not get triggered? How do you deal with when you get triggered?
Or when you could get triggered.
And when you could get, and you'll lessen that over time to allow yourself to be as centered in your own New York, your own goals. And it's not just the way, it's deeper than that. It's like, I want to be feeling good about myself this year. I want to feel like I have good conversations, and with the people who are challenging me in this year, they have less control. I let them have less power in my life, you know, and really taking on that I. And Jan said exactly what you said, Roberta. She said I feel anger versus someone made me anger. So owning,
Exactly.
taking the more responsibility each of us can take for our feelings, the more power we have. And that is an intention that I invite everybody to say is take responsibility for your feelings because you'll have the most power. You'll be able to start implementing slowly if you want, and consciously if you keep watching us, those tools that we gave you, whether it's meeting them at the intensity but with different words, to making a different choice, to walking away when you get triggered and coming back at a different time and space. There's so many things you can do, um, but it starts with owning your feelings, setting an intention for what you want this year, giving up the shoulds and blame, kind of what we talked about today. Anything, and what else, Roberta?
Well, I just want to say something about those feelings. Feelings are not facts. Facts are black is black. Okay. And you can agree black is black and everybody can agree. That's a fact. But a feeling is not. A feeling is an expression of something that's going on with me right now. And we all know that feelings are fleeting. I'm going to feel different in an hour, right? Um, and if I don't feel different in a week, then you better go and get some help. But feelings are not facts in the sense that we all see them the same way and they feel them the same way. And so when we have a feeling, honor that as your unique self, but don't impose it on somebody else. Just like you were pointing out that Jan did it so well. I feel angry. That's about me. You may not have intended to make any of that happen within me. I just recognize I feel angry. Great first step. Own that it's yours and then find out why that was your response to it while you're sitting with that nice cup of herbal tea, right?
Sounds like a plan. I love it.
Yeah, it is a plan, and it's a great plan for 2018 and beyond. And we've got great plans for the show for this year. So please tell your friends, invite them to come along here or to listen after the fact and go to Transform Your Relationships Live on Facebook. Because I noticed that many people are going back and listening to old shows, Laura, and they're all on my YouTube channel too at For Relationship Help. So if you're a YouTube fan, you want to put it on your Roku, go there and watch the shows as well.
And of course, you can find us online when we're not on live at our respective websites, transformtoday.com and forrelationshiphelp.com. We are here for you in 2018, setting intentions with you and navigating these interesting times, shall we say. We'll
Yeah,
be back. Yeah, go ahead.
and there's always going to be interesting times. Don't ever think that it's set and forget. That you would definitely end up well beyond Bali if you did that when you were planning to go to New York. So it's not set and forget. It is consciously every day. What are my intentions? And not beat yourself up when you don't do it. Redirect yourself back towards New York.
Happy intention settings in this new year. Everyone will be back in 2 weeks. Thanks so much for watching, and be in touch.
Bye
Bye.
bye.